There will be moments in your life when staying positive feels almost impossible. Moments when the plans you made fall apart, when the opportunity you worked for disappears, when someone disappoints you, when progress feels painfully slow, when you wake up tired, discouraged, and unsure whether you have the strength to keep going. During those moments, people may tell you to just stay positive. But staying positive does not mean pretending everything is fine. It does not mean ignoring pain, hiding disappointment, or forcing yourself to smile when your world feels heavy. Real positivity is something much stronger. It is the decision to believe that your current situation does not have to become your final destination. It is the courage to acknowledge that life is difficult while refusing to believe that difficulty has defeated you. You may not be able to control everything that happens around you, but you can influence what happens within you. You can choose what you focus on. You can choose what meaning you give to the challenge. You can choose whether the experience makes you bitter or makes you stronger. And sometimes that choice is the beginning of everything changing. Challenges are a natural part of life. No one escapes them. Even the people who appear confident and successful have faced rejection, uncertainty, failure, loneliness, and fear. You often see the final result, but you do not see the private battles that came before it. You see the business, but not the years of doubt. You see the strong person, but not the nights they nearly gave up. You see the victory, but not the hundreds of small defeats that taught them how to win. Strength is rarely created during comfortable seasons. Strength is built when you are forced to keep moving without knowing exactly how everything will work out. It is built when you get back up after being knocked down. It is built when you continue working while nobody is applauding. It is built when you choose discipline over discouragement. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence that you can survive the next one. Think about what you have already lived through. There were days you thought would break you. There were situations you believed you would never recover from. There were moments when you could not see a way forward, yet you are still here. You may carry scars from those experiences, but scars are not proof of weakness. They are proof that the wound did not finish you. You survived days that once felt unbearable. That means there is more strength inside you than you sometimes remember. When you are facing a challenge, do not demand that you solve your entire life in one day. You do not need to have every answer. You do not need to see the whole road. You only need to identify the next step. One phone call, one application, one difficult conversation, 1 hour of focused work, one walk around the block, one decision not to give up today. Small steps may not feel dramatic, but they create momentum. And momentum changes how you see yourself. Each time you take action, you send yourself a message. I am not powerless. I am still moving. I have not surrendered. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes progress is simply responding differently to something that used to destroy your peace. Sometimes it is setting a boundary. Sometimes it is asking for help. Sometimes it is starting again without announcing it to anyone. Sometimes it is resting long enough to regain your strength. Rest is not failure. Taking time to recover does not mean you have lost your ambition. Even the strongest people need moments to breathe. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to admit that something hurts. Just do not confuse a pause with the end of your journey. You can rest without quitting. You can be disappointed without becoming defeated. You can have a bad day without deciding that you have a bad life. One difficult chapter does not define the entire story. When life becomes challenging, pay close attention to your inner voice. The words you repeat to yourself matter. If you constantly tell yourself that nothing ever works, that you are not capable, or that your life will never improve, your mind will begin searching for evidence to support those beliefs. But you can interrupt that pattern. Instead of saying, I cannot handle this, say, I am learning how to handle this. Instead of saying, everything is going wrong, say, some things are difficult right now, but I am still looking for a way forward. Instead of saying, I have failed, say, this attempt did not work, and now I know more than I did before. The goal is not to lie to yourself. The goal is to speak to yourself in a way that creates possibility rather than hopelessness. Your thoughts are not always facts. Fear may tell you that the worst possible outcome is certain. Disappointment may tell you that trying again is pointless. Comparison may tell you that everybody else is moving forward while you are falling behind. But you are not running their race. You are living your own life with your own timing, your own responsibilities, and your own lessons. Stop measuring your beginning against someone else's middle. Stop punishing yourself because your progress does not look like theirs. A slower journey is still a journey. A delayed result is not always a denied result. Some things take longer because they are developing you for what comes next. You may be learning patience. You may be learning discipline. You may be learning which people truly support you. You may be discovering what you will no longer tolerate. You may be becoming someone who can carry the success you are asking for. Not every obstacle is there to stop you. Some obstacles redirect you. Some reveal weaknesses that need attention. Some protect you from paths that were never right for you. Some force you to develop skills you would never have developed while life was easy. You may not appreciate the lesson while you are living through it. That is understandable. Growth is often uncomfortable because it requires you to release an older version of yourself. The version that avoided difficult conversations. The version that waited for permission. The version that gave up when progress was not immediate. The version that allowed one mistake to define their worth. You are not required to remain that person. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to rebuild. You are allowed to begin again with more wisdom. Starting again does not mean you are back at the beginning. You are starting with experience. You know more now. You recognize warning signs you once ignored. You understand your limits. You know what failure feels like, and you know that you can survive it. That knowledge is valuable. Use it. When you are trying to stay positive, protect what enters your mind. Be aware of the people you spend time with. Some people will remind you of your strength. Others will constantly remind you of your mistakes. Some people will encourage your growth. Others will feel threatened when you begin changing. You do not need to hate anyone, but you may need to create distance from voices that continually pull you toward negativity, drama, and self-doubt. Your environment influences your mindset. Choose music, conversations, books, videos, and routines that help you become calmer, clearer, and stronger. Gratitude can also shift your perspective. Gratitude does not mean denying what is missing. It means refusing to overlook what remains. Perhaps you still have someone who cares about you. Perhaps you have another chance tomorrow. Perhaps you have the ability to learn, work, create, move, speak, or begin again. Perhaps the day was difficult, but you found one peaceful moment. Perhaps you did not achieve everything, but you did something. Gratitude will not remove every problem, but it can stop your problems from becoming the only thing you see. There is always something worth noticing. A lesson, a person, a new opportunity, a small improvement, a reason to continue. And when you cannot find a reason to feel positive about the situation, focus on becoming proud of how you respond to it. You may not have chosen the challenge, but you can choose to meet it with courage. You can choose integrity when anger would be easier. You can choose patience when progress is slow. You can choose to keep your word to yourself. You can choose to take the next step even while your confidence is still developing. Confidence does not always arrive before action. Often, confidence is created because you acted while you were afraid. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is deciding that something matters more than fear. Your future matters more. Your peace matters more. Your growth matters more. The life you are trying to build matters more. Do not allow one setback to convince you to abandon everything you have worked for. You are allowed to adjust the plan. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to take a different route, but do not abandon yourself. There will come a day when you look back at this version of yourself, the version who was tired, uncertain, and facing something difficult. You will realize that this was not the moment your story ended. It was the moment you discovered what you were capable of. The challenge did not arrive to prove that you were weak. It gave you an opportunity to reveal your strength. So take a breath. Release the pressure to solve everything immediately. Focus on what you can control today. Speak to yourself with patience. Protect your peace. Take one meaningful step, then take another tomorrow. You do not need to feel positive every second to build a positive life. You simply need to keep returning to hope, keep returning to courage, keep returning to the belief that change is possible. Your current struggle is real, but so is your strength. Your fear is real, but so is your ability to move through it. The road may be difficult, but difficult does not mean impossible. You have already overcome more than you once believed you could. And you can overcome this too. Keep moving forward. Your story is still being written.